Okay, welcome to grade 6 mathematics. Grade 6 mathematics. So grade 6 today we want to discuss inequalities. Inequalities. So inequalities, the first thing that we have to learn about inequalities is what we call inequality symbols. Inequality symbols. Mostly we use two symbols. They can of course be even three, like we have equal to, we have less than, we have greater than. So the symbols of inequality, we have this symbol here. So that symbol is the right symbol that faces the right hand side. So that one is a symbol of greater than. Like if I say 3 is greater than 1, then this is the symbol of that word greater than. On the left, that faces the left hand side, is less than. So this one is less than, this one is greater than. So like I can say 2 is less than 3. So these symbols, sometimes you can be told to use them to complete a sentence. For example, somebody can give you two numbers and ask you to insert one of those symbols, like 3 dash 5. So you are asked which symbol can you fix there to make that statement complete. So 3 is less than 5. So we'll use the symbol of less than. This that faces the left hand side. So we'll insert it there. So this symbol means 3 is less than 5. If you start with 5 this side, dash 3. So 5 is bigger than 3. So we'll say 5 is greater than 3. So we don't use the word greater, we use the symbol. So we'll say 5 is greater than 3. Now, those are inequality symbols, and sometimes you are given a statement to fill. Now, sometimes the challenging part of it is that you are given something like, let me use these examples. 4 hours dash 4 hours dash 180 minutes. 180 minutes. So you are told to use the inequality symbols to make this sentence complete. So these are different units. These are hours, these are minutes. So you cannot look at the number of minutes and say 180, 180, this one is more than 4 hours. No, you have to change all of them. You can only compare same units. You cannot compare minutes and hours. So for you to know the exact symbol to use, whether this is less than this or this is greater than this, then you need the same unit. Either we will change these 4 hours into minutes so that we have minutes, then you can now compare, or we will change these minutes into hours so that we have hours. So let's change. If we change these minutes into hours, these are 180 minutes. 180 minutes, if you change them into hours, you will get around, this is 3 hours. There's a total of 3 hours. So we have hours and hours. So those ones we can compare because they are the same unit. And of course, 4 hours is greater than 3 hours. So we will use this symbol. 4 hours is greater than 180 minutes. So anytime you are handling an inequality where you are told to use the symbol and you have different units, the best thing, first of all, change them into the same unit so that if they are meters and meters, hours, so that you can easily find which one is easier. Another example is this: 25 millimeters dash 3 centimeters. So you are asked between these two units, 25 millimeters is less than or is greater than 3 centimeters. These are different units, and therefore we cannot compare different units, so you have to make them the same unit. So which one is easier? Can we change millimeters into centimeters or centimeters into millimeters? So we can easily change centimeters into millimeters, because 1 centimeter is equivalent to 10 millimeters. So if you have 3 centimeters here, that means these are 30 millimeters. So once we have millimeters and millimeters, now we can compare. This is 25, this is 30. So which symbol do we use? 25 is less than 30 millimeters, or 25 millimeters is less than 3 centimeters. So we use the symbol less than. We use the symbol less than. So you need to change them into the same unit so that you don't confuse yourself. Even if they are any unit, even if they are fractions, you need to change them. You have a common denominator, so that from there you can find out which fraction is bigger than the other. Now, after looking at how we can use the symbol greater than or less than, let us now look at how do we form an inequalities. Forming inequalities. Forming inequalities. Now, in forming inequalities, at this level, it has been divided into two groups or into two sections. Forming in an inequalities. Now, the first part of forming an inequality is covered in both addition and subtraction. Then the second part will cover both division and multiplication. Now, forming an inequality means this. You have been given a statement and you are told to form an inequality using that statement. For example, let me read this. In a match, Korir scored Y goals and Karimi scored 4 goals. So there are two people here. There is Korir who scored Y goals. We don't know the number of goals, so we call them Y goals. Then there is Karemi who also scored, but this one we are given. This one scored 4 goals. In a match, Korir scored Y goals and Karemi scored 4 goals. Full stop. They scored less than 10 goals altogether. They scored less than 10 goals altogether. That means the total number of goals Korir scored plus the total number of goals Karemi scored, if you get the total, is less than 10 goals. So that is what we are going to form. So you know that when anytime you are talking about total, this is addition. We add this goal plus this goal to give us the total number of goals. So we'll say the goals that Korir scored, that is Y, plus the goals that Karemi scored, that is 4, is less than 10. So we use the word less than 10 goals altogether. So we use the symbol less than, that is the left hand side. So we'll say is less than 10 goals. And there you are. You have formed an inequality. So first of all, you have to list the number of goals each person scored. So Korir, Y goals, Karemi, 4 goals. If they need the total, you know that getting the total, you need the total of goals scored by this person plus the total goals scored by this person. But the information is saying that their total goals, the total goals altogether is less than 10. So we talk about Y plus 4 is less than 10. And that is how, by doing this, you have formed an inequality. Let me get another example. I will just read because I can see my pen is running out of ink. So let me just read. Then we just write the numbers. A cow produces more than 22 liters of milk every day. A cow produces more than 22 liters of milk every day. That means today 22. More than more than 22. That means it's either 24, 23 and above. So it is more than 22 milk every day. The cow produces E liters in the morning. So we write, in the morning, this cow produces E liters. The cow produces E liters in the morning and 7 liters in the evening. So we write evening, this cow produces 7 liters. What does the instruction say? Form an equality to represent this information. We know that the total, that was the first statement, that a cow produces more than 22 liters of milk every day. So in the morning and in the evening. So for us to get the total every day, we get the total amount in the morning plus the amount in the evening, then we add the two. But you are told it is more than 22 liters. So we'll say the amount of milk in the morning, that is E, plus the amount of milk in the evening, that is 7, is more than. So we use the word greater than 22. And there you are. You have formed an inequality. So E plus 7 is greater than 22. So that means this cow is producing either 23, 24, 30, 40, but the total is more than 22 liters. So we use the symbol of greater than, the right. Let me look at another example here. Ochieng bought D eggs. Ochieng bought D eggs. D eggs. So that's the total number of eggs. So we say this person bought total number of eggs, D eggs. Ochieng bought D eggs, full stop. 3 eggs broke and he was left with more than 10 eggs. 3 eggs broke. So those that broken eggs are 3. So in that, just by understanding that question, if somebody has bought certain number of eggs, then a certain number broke, what is remaining? How do you get what is remaining? The total number that you bought minus what got broken, those that got broken, so that you get the remaining. And you are told he was left with more than 10 eggs. So we will say the total number of eggs bought, D, minus the eggs that got broken. The remaining, he was left with more than 10 eggs. What is remaining is greater than 10. So we use the symbol greater than. So I told you this one comprises of both addition and subtraction. So you look at that. The most important thing, first of all, read the statement. As you read the statement, have something to note down so that by the end of the day, you have the items there. Some learners, what they do, they only read the statement like a storybook from the first statement to the last. Then from there you start. You cannot work like maths is done step by step. So anything you read, put it down. That's what I'm trying to do here. I've just read Ochieng bought D eggs. You write the number of eggs bought, D, full stop. It continues and says 3 eggs broke. So you talk about broken eggs were 3. Then you continue now and say he was left with more than 10 eggs. Form an inequality to represent this information. This is what that information is saying. D minus 3 is greater than 10. So that one means you have formed an inequality. That is called forming an inequality. Let me look at another, maybe the last example here. Juma, who is P meters tall, is taller than Amina. Juma, who is P meters tall, is taller than Amina. Now look at that. One statement, 2 people have been mentioned. So you have to be very keen to know whose height you have been given. So Juma, who is P meters tall. So unaanza na huyu Juma because that is the height we know. Juma, you have been told, is P meters tall. Juma, who is P meters tall, is taller than Amina. So there's another person here, Amina. Amina, we have not been told, so you continue with the sentence to give you what has been given there. So Juma, who is P meters tall, is taller than Amina, full stop. Amina is 1.8 meters tall. So Amina here is 1.8 meters tall. So remember, Juma is taller than Amina, but Amina is 1.8 meters tall. That means this Juma is either 1.9 or 2, anything more than 1.8, because he is taller than Amina. Now the question, the difference in their height is less than 0.5 meters. The difference, when I talk about the difference of two numbers, difference simply means subtraction. You take this and you subtract, you will get the difference. So you are told the difference, that word, the keyword there is difference. The difference between in their height is 0.5. So we know that Juma is taller than Amina, and you have told Juma is P meters, Amina is 1.8 meters. So for us to get the difference, we take the height of the taller person, which is Juma. So it is P minus the height of the shorter one, 1.8, and you are told that their difference is less than 0.5. So use the word, the symbol less than 0.5. And there you are. You have formed the equation. The height of Juma minus the height of Amina is less than 0.5. So that is an inequality. So doing that, you have formed an inequality. Therefore, we cannot mix inequality of addition and subtraction and inequality of multiplication and division. I'm going to confuse some people here step by step. So that means inequality, the continuation of this inequality that involves multiplication and division will come into in the next video and not this one. So up to that point, if you have a question, you have any concern, please, you can comment there. Otherwise, subscribe, share, like, and so that you can build this community. Up to that point, thank you for watching. See you in the next lesson.